Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. This is Ed Womack, the Life Transformer, and we are back with yet another episode of Be Your Best 2015. And have we got an amazing and awesome, astonishing event for you today. We've got the Black Belt Speaker Bonanza going on, y'all. We've got myself in the house. We've got Lady D, Demetra Moore, and coming very shortly, we're going to be joined by none other than Dr. Ruben West, the baddest speaker trainer on the planet. But before we jump in today, we want to just welcome everybody back, welcome those that have been following us. And for those of you that are joining for the very first time, we want to say welcome, welcome, welcome to Be Your Best 2015, where we connect, correct, and climb. Lady D, are you there? Mic check, mic check.
Mic check, mic check. I'm here. I'm excited. I just can't believe we are having a Black Belt Speakers Bonanza. I am excited. We have been doing this how long, Ed? Since January? New Year's Eve, maybe?
New Year's Eve.
I mean, and I remember the day that you said you wanted to do this as a series. And we were like, no, we can't ask Ruben. We can't ask Ruben. We didn't want Ruben on yet. But now it's only, 4 months later. And we've been through all these trainings. And now you and I are in a different place with the webinar, feeling confident about it. And finally, we had the courage to ask Ruben to come on. And not like he wouldn't come on, but just to share a stage with somebody that we admire so much. I think it had us both a little shaky. What you think?
I totally concur. I mean, when you have an awesome, amazing instructor, a person that really pours into you, a person that just gives their all, you want to do well. And so, right. I was a little, I won't say intimidated, but I didn't want to bring him on in the midst of us trying to figure this thing out. Right. And as I read his book, Destination Mastery, it suggests that you start out, and then you never know where things are going to go. And that's like you were saying, the story for those who don't know, Be Your Best 2015 was just going to be a single event.
Right.
It was supposed to happen on New Year's Eve, and that was going to be it. And the universe rewards those who take action. So by virtue of us taking action, here we now have what has evolved into not only a monthly event, but I can see clearly now that we're going to go on and on. All right, okay, so I'm not going to quit my day job. That was a little improv, But seriously, for those that are out there, you can already feel the energy. And what I need you to do, as we always have you do, go ahead, hit the button up top. Share this with someone that you know can benefit from what's about to happen today on the Black Belt Speaker Bonanza at Be Your Best 2015. And we are going to just bring the heat with Destination Mastery. All three of us kind of collaborated together to bring some different flavors for you to understand, to enrich, to uplift your understanding, your ingestion of Destination Mastery, and I guarantee you won't be disappointed. So what we need you to do, if you're not already a member of the Be Your Best 2015 group, now there's two Be Your Best 2015. We're going to fix that going forward. There's a page and there's a group. All questions, all comments, all kudos, all interactions are going to take place today for the duration of this broadcast in the Be Your Best 2015 group. There's a Facebook share button up at top. There's a LinkedIn button up top. There's a Google Plus button. So whatever your particular social media tool of choice is, go ahead and pay this forward, because this is just going to be one of the most amazing, one of the most phenomenal, one of the greatest life-changing hangouts you've attended in 2015. I guarantee it. So, Lady D, mic check, mic check. I think I see Dr. West is in the house. Dr. West, are you there? Mic check, Dr. West.
Absolutely. Can you hear me?
We can hear you and we can.
Yes. All right. I'm here and ready. And thank you guys for having me on.
Oh, man, it's an absolute honor and a distinct pleasure to have you in the house today, and we are going to go ahead and get started. I want to double check and make sure inside of the Facebook group, let me pop over there real quick since I'm manning the group, first to make sure that we're not getting any messages saying I cannot connect, which happens on occasion. So we just want to be doubly sure that we didn't lose or leave anybody. This train is about to leave the station here in just a second. So let's see here. Over in the Be Your Best, looks like we've got a couple of people logging in. Let's see here. If you're in the Be Your Best 2015 group, go ahead and let us know where you're logging in from, where you're listening, and how we can continue to connect, correct, and climb as we move forward on this journey. All right. Let's see. Looks like we've got everybody in. People are starting to pour into the room. Okay. So what we're going to do today is, first and foremost, as the gentleman that we are, myself and Dr. West have elected to allow the lady of the house to go first. So we're going to do just that. And before we jump in, for those of you that may be joining us for the first time, you may not be aware of the phenomenal, the most amazing life transformationist specialist in the space of female empowerment enrichment, the owner, CEO of More Out of Life, who's spoken over 200,000 folk, both individually and groups. She's spoken at numerous women's conferences, and she happens to be my co-host on Be Your Best 2015, as well as the Ed and Lady D Show, which you can check out every single week, Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern. But today, on the Black Belt Speakers Bonanza, we are all collaboratively going to pour into you with the energy, with the essence, with various concepts of destination mastery. Ladies and gentlemen, be prepared to move yourself to a new level of excellence and mastery as I present to you Lady D, Demetra Moore. Lady D, it's your mic.
Thank you. Thank you. I felt like I needed to come running out of something, the type of introduction you gave me. Like I needed to come down the aisle giving everybody a high five. I'm excited to be here. Thank you, Ed, for such a great introduction. And I didn't even have to give you an introduction, simply because we've worked together so much. We kind of know what to say about each other. We just kind of know, right? I think we do. We just kind of know what to say. But with that being said, I am excited to share a platform with you and Dr. West today. I have been waiting for this forever. I'll say forever. So I am excited, and I'm not going to waste time. So for you guys who are listening to this webinar, definitely get your notes and pens out. I guarantee you there will be takeaways and just nuggets that you will be able to share with your friends, family, and just anybody, people in your community, because the goal, as Ed mentioned earlier, is for us to connect, correct, and climb. And I'm just excited. So without further ado, they said our topic was going to be destination mastery. We all got together and kind of collaborated on things that we wanted to do and how we wanted to deliver messages to you guys today on on a level playing field, so we're all on the same page, but we're coming from different perspectives. So for me today, I just was thinking about a story that I wanted to share with you guys about a young lady I met at a career development workshop. She started to talk to me about how she hated her job, how she didn't like the way management did things, and how special people got, I'll quote, special privileges, and people weren't treated the same. And she had been there, I want to say 9 years, 8 years, I can't recall, but she could tell me everything that she hated about that job. And after a long conversation, I asked her, what are you going to do about it? And she goes on to say, well, I've been looking and I've had a few interviews, and nothing really happened for me, so I'm not really sure. And she asked me to look over her resume, and I began to look over it and critique it and give her some suggestions. But she still couldn't tell me what she wanted to do. And for me, that was puzzling, because if you're in a situation that you hate so much, why not do something about it? Why keep doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results? At least that's what I thought to myself, because I've done that, and according to my research and my own personal experience, that is the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. So I figured, why not share this information with this client to not allow her to do the same thing that I did, because time is of essence, and who wants to waste their time doing something that they hate? So I asked her again, what do you want to do? And she says, I need another job, I need another resume, I need all this other stuff, and I've been here and I don't have this securities registration, I don't have that securities registration, and it just wasn't working out. And she was like, well, Demetra, I don't know what my next step should be. I don't know how I should proceed with moving forward. And all I could do was keep asking her in different ways, what is it that you want to do? Because it was as if she was expecting me to plan out her destination, and I can't tell her where she wants to go in her life. My job as a coach is to help you get to where you're trying to go, but I can't pick out your destination. And for somebody, that may be a takeaway there. Know your destination. Know where you want to go. Because if you don't, it's like you're running a race with no end. You will continue to run and continue to be unsatisfied because you don't have an end in mind. And she didn't. She just kept talking about all of the people in the department, how long she's been there, and just what could be done differently, and she had all these ideas, but none for her own life. Who out there has encountered somebody like that? They have all these ideas for other people's lives, all these ideas of how things could be done better, how things could be done better in the community, the church, the PTA, for goodness sake, your child's little league team, how they could be a better treasurer or a better president, maybe of your HOA, for goodness sake. But no ideas on how they can better their lives. She was that person. I was that person before. My job in that particular situation was to help her understand she didn't have an end in mind. So I asked her, what is your overall objective that you're trying to achieve? And she goes on to say, I need more money. I have to take care of my boys. I have bills to pay, and that there's a certain lifestyle that I'm accustomed to, and so forth and so on. But still no desired end in mind. So I asked her, 5 years from now, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself in this same cube/cell that you call it? Because you hate coming here. You drive yourself, as a friend of mine, Roland, said, you drive yourself to prison every day, and you sit in this cube because you're in this place that you hate. She was doing that every day for 8 years. And all she did was complain. How many of you know someone out there who behaves in that manner? I can be transparent. That was me. I did that. I complained every day about something that I hated. But I had to talk to this young lady a little bit more to get her to understand she has the ability to master her destination. Because at this point, she didn't have one. She had no desired end in mind. So my takeaway number one for you guys is you got to take action. You have to first decide what you want out of your life. Your coach can't do it. Your mentor can't do it. Your parents can't do it. Your friends can't do it. For those who have kids, your kids can't tell you what you want out of your life. All those people can do is merely support you, but they cannot decide the destination for you. So finally, she actually said, I would like to work in a different office and have these types of amenities in the office and these types of personal and professional development opportunities, and that was more clear to me in regards to how I could possibly help her. So then I began to talk to her about the process for getting a resume redone and getting her cover letter and proper interview techniques. And I write it all out on the invoice and I hand it to her. And she says to me, whoa, I'm not sure about that cost. And right there, and this wasn't even something I had planned to share with you guys, but it just stood out to me as soon as I said the words cost. I need you to understand. When you're investing in yourself and you're spending money on yourself to be a better person, it's not a cost. It's an investment because you're guaranteed a return. You're guaranteed a return because you are your best investment. The only way you don't get a return is you let you down. She was worried about a cost. A cost is something that you're not reaping any benefits. You pay cost for shoes. You pay cost for clothes. You pay cost for a car. You pay cost for things that don't really add any value to your life. But if it's going to add value, it is an investment because you're going to reap a return. She didn't understand that. She couldn't understand investment versus cost. So I told her, well, you can definitely take the invoice, you can get back with me, and we can move forward whenever you're ready. But I am here to help you because you deserve to have more, be more, and experience more out of your life. And yes, it sounds cliche-ish because that is the name of my business, More Out of Life, but I truly believe that we all deserve that. But that client could not take action. She just couldn't. And that's step one. You have to take action. And you have to be ready to move forward. And I don't think she was ready. And that's takeaway number 2. Be ready to move forward. How many of us have been in situations where we talk about the things that we want to do and we've been talking about it for 10 years? I can attest that was me too. And maybe it wasn't 10 years, maybe it was 3 weeks. You talking about you going to start a project, or you going to do some work in your house, or you're going to start this book. You're going to start exercising, start eating better in January, and it's April and you still haven't done anything. You got that gym membership in January and went one time and it's April. We all know people who've done those things. And it could be some of you. I can attest. Like I said, it was me. I'm being transparent. But you have to take action, number 1. And you have to be ready. One of my favorite speakers, Andy Enriquez, said, if you move on what you know, what you don't know will come clear to you. If you don't move on what you know, what you don't know will paralyze you. And that is a powerful quote, and that sums up all of the actions that the potential client that I was talking to was experiencing. She could not move on what she didn't know. She just couldn't move. And therefore, she was paralyzed. And she, at this very day, is still doing the same thing that she hated, going to the same job, living the same life with the same money, and nothing has changed. So again, you got to take action and you got to be ready. And I'm going to be transparent with you again and tell you another story about some things that I've encountered most recently. I come on and I tell my clients about getting ready and being prepared and taking action, but I was one of those people who, in one particular situation, I didn't do that. And it taught me a valuable lesson, which I gotta tell you about today. I learn quotes, of course, because I want to be the best speaker that I can be. I study speaker techniques all the time because I want to be, again, a renowned speaker. And to do that, you have to put the time in to practice and to become better. Of course, that's how I got with Black Belt Speakers and working with Dr. Ruben West, simply because I want to be better. So I always tell my clients, when an opportunity presents itself, you have to be ready. And in my mind, I thought I was ready. Most recently, I attended a conference and I did a great presentation. I was overly excited. I got the quotes right, everything right. And then at the end of the night, I was talking to one of the judges, and I began to talk to him about a quote that I heard a while ago, and he asked me, why didn't you do it in your presentation? He said it was quite suitable. It would have fit. And I said, I couldn't do it because you were there, and I didn't want to mess it up, and you judged me too harshly, and I just had all these negative connotations in my mind, and I just couldn't do it, is pretty much what I told him. And he was like, no, you should have done it. And we went back and forth having a conversation about it, but I just couldn't do it. And at that point, I realized in my life that I had taken action, but I wasn't truly ready. And I didn't understand what being ready was. Being ready means it doesn't matter who's in your presence. You're always ready to deliver. And you're delivering in such a capacity that it is consistent at all times. It doesn't matter if you're in the front of 3 people or 3,000 people. And for you, it may not be speaking on an international platform or anything like that. It could be you speaking up at the PTA meeting. You're speaking up in a meeting at work. You actually doing a presentation to your teammates and presenting a new idea that you didn't think anybody would buy into. Just not being ready. And I wasn't ready. I just wasn't. And I didn't know that I wasn't until the judge called me on the court. And let me give you an example of what that was like for me. I know some of you have watched American Idol before, and I know, at least I must admit, it's a guilty pleasure. I watched the beginning phases only to see people make a practical nuisance of themselves. And we laugh at it because we're like, how did you get on there and forgot the words? How did you get there and not know what song to sing? How did you get there and lose your thoughts in the middle of what you're going to say? And for you, maybe if you didn't watch American Idol, think about making a speech at maybe your church or in a local community meeting. And you get there in front of all those people and there's just mere silence. At least silence in the audience. But it's a lot of chatter in your head. And the chatter is there because you're not ready. So let me tell you what it is to be ready. You must be able, again, to deliver no matter who's there, and deliver in such a manner that every time you step into that particular situation, you're consistent in how you're doing it and you're getting better each time. If you're practicing at home, you practice in such a manner as if that person is there watching you. Not like you're just talking to the mirror or you're talking to your pets. You practice as if whoever that is that you have to present to is there before you, and this is your time to shine. You have to be ready in such a manner that your content is always deliverable. You're not shaky on your statistics, your quotes, or any information that you're delivering. You have to be ready in that manner. So let me recap for you. Number one, take action. Always be ready to take action, because you got to move on what you know. Number two, be ready. Be ready and consistent with what you're doing. Always have consistent delivery. And number three is you have to be confident. And that's my favorite point I wanted to share with you today. Because Marianne Williamson said it best. Do not shrink. Your shrinking does not serve the world. How many of us have done that? We doubt our own skill sets simply because we view someone as being better than us. Well, what if they're not? And that's just merely your perception. As of today, I need everybody who's watching this webinar to own your space. Because for every person that you believe is extraordinary, for every person that you believe is just out of this world, they're great, they're awesome at whatever the particular item may be, I need you to understand that you're great too. And you need to own your greatness in your space. And what I mean by that is, for every person that you are in such awe of, that person has something they're not so good at either. We all have something. We have talents and gifts. We all were given those. But there are some people who can sing. There's some people who can paint. There's some people who can do tons of things that I can't do. But that doesn't make me any less of a person. That just means I'm a greater coach, or I'm a greater speaker. They may be a greater singer, but that doesn't take away from my gifts either. That just means I respect them for what they can do, and I should be respected for what I can do as well. So you have to be confident. And I'm not saying walk around as if you're the best thing ever in the world. That's not what I'm saying. But be confident in what you can deliver, and always be open-minded to learn more, to be better. Because once you get to a point where you're not growing and you're not learning anything else to personally develop you into a better person, then you're now a part of the Walking Dead. And who wants to be a part of the Walking Dead? That's part of being mediocre. And mediocre is not appealing when there's an extraordinary life out there that you deserve to live, because you only live once. So again, be confident in everything that you're doing. Never let the skill sets of somebody else make you belittle your own. Never ever do that. And that was something that I did. And I'm being very transparent because I want everybody who's watching this webinar today to learn how to utilize the tips we're going to give in order for you to participate in Destination Mastery. You deserve it. You deserve to have more, be more, experience more out of your life. So let me recap so you can have all of the tips, and I will place them in the chat room for you. Take action. Be ready. And be confident. And the last thing is know that you deserve it. You deserve to have the best life. You deserve to pass on a legacy to your family that they can be proud of. And one of my favorite quotes that I want to leave you with is by Irma Baumbach. When I stand before God at the end of my life, I would hope that I could say, I have used everything that you have given me. So with that being said, until next time, you guys just take action. Done is better than perfect.
Lady D just oop 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 oop. Oh oop 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 oop. Wow. Thank you so much. As always, Lady D, you brought the heat. And ladies, gentlemen, in the Be Your Best 2015 group, I need you to post some takeaways. I need you to go ahead and press the share button up above and pay it forward. I mean, we were given 3 major nuggets of how to move toward destination of mastery. Destination mastery is the topic for the day. Destination mastery is the goal. In case you haven't noticed, as we continue to connect, correct, and climb here today, Lady D, you know, you were actually bringing some very transparent information, and I think that's one of the great things I like about working with you is you don't hold back. You really straightforward what it is that may be bothering you, but more so, you're diligent. You work hard, and you just keep pressing no matter what. So we want to thank you as always, and tell the folk out there how they can get in touch with you, Lady D. For those that might be new and aren't already connected, aside from posting great information inside of the Be Your Best 2015 group, how else can people get in touch with you, Lady D?
Of course. They can go to, of course, you guys get your pens and paper, and I'll post this in the Be Your Best 2015 chat room. But you can text 980-201-2458, and the keyword is Demetra. D is in David, E-M-E-T-R-A. And put your name in there, as well as your email address. So if you have a question, I'll reach out to you. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Again, I'm excited about this hangout and waiting for what you have to deliver, Mr. Edward. Whoa, Mac. I'm excited and waiting for your topic so I can take notes this time.
All right, awesome, awesome. So give me 2 secs, and then you can kind of invite, see what kind of activity we got out in the chat room. For some reason, I'm not seeing. I see Kevin Williams is out in the chat room. Thank you so much for joining us. My good friend Chapito, I messed it up on screen. I can't believe I did that. Brother Hilton, Chapito Hilton, I actually met this weekend or earlier this week, who was really an amazing individual to talk to, and I'm sure he's going to find himself into the fold of Black Belt speakers at some point in time. But he reached out with a video, and you know, the universe rewards those that take action. And Chapito just reached out and said, "Hey, Mr. Womack, I'd love to talk to you." And I'm like, "Okay, I'd love to talk to you too." And as we were chopping it up, he started spitting. First, he sent me a video, and it was an amazing story about how he had become or evolved into being the primary caregiver for his mom, his dad, as well as his grandmother, I believe it was. But it's a role that oftentimes females find themselves in. And the YouTube video was so powerful, I almost canceled our Black Belt speaker call to go talk to this guy. But I'm like, no, I'm committed. I'm not sure what the conversation is going to evolve into. There was so much going on in our team call that I didn't cancel it, but I talked to him immediately after. We'll talk about it a little bit later. So he's in the Facebook group. He's joining us. My brother Eric E. Love Jordan, the Clean Comic, is joining us. Hey, man, thank you so much for joining the Be Your Best 2015 group. We got Justin G. LaRoque in the house, one of our Black Belt speakers. So thank you, brother, so much for the support. We got Tracy Ward. We call her Black Diamond, y'all, because she is enough, and she's a diamond in the rough, show enough. So we thank Tracy Ward for being in the house. I believe John McClung is out there also. He's posted a quick thank you, love you guys, and he's about to release a new book, I Am Enough, I Am Testimony, excuse me, which is so hot. I got afforded the opportunity to read it forward, provide an acknowledgement, and read some of it. I can't wait to get my hands on a full-blown copy. But those are just a couple of people that are out in the group. I also see Tracy Ward out there. I mentioned Black Diamond. She's out there. Denise, doggone it, Dinesh, please forgive me if I badgered your name. But thank you so much for joining us this afternoon as well on Be Your Best 2015. And so, Lady D, we are ecstatic as always to have people join us. And once again, if you got a takeaway, I'm sure you did. If you got a bowl, go out to the Be Your Best 2015 Facebook group. Pay it forward, because there are going to be people that are listening to this broadcast as a replay. Unfortunately, they didn't join us live, but they're going to be listening in, and we don't want them to miss any of the major takeaways or the content that was provided today. So that being said, Lady D, can you give me about 15 seconds to kind of gather myself, and then we'll go ahead and kick off the next segment.
Oh, most definitely. Again, I'm in the chat room now. So for you all who want to get in, I think Ed and I went back and we changed it to where you don't have to need my permission to let you in, mine or Ed's. But if you're trying to get in, I'll go check it in just a second. But again, we are excited. So for those who have shared this and paying it forward, please share this information with your family. Again, we're going to post the link later on for those who are not able to watch it. So if you have somebody that you're like, oh, I'm at work, they can't watch it, we will post the link, and we would like for you to share that as well. But we have some very hot speakers on this webinar today. Of course, we have my brother Edward Womack, but then we have Dr. Ruben West, who has done some really, really intensive speaking. Again, as we mentioned earlier, he has a black belt speaker training. He has done some speaking with, guess who? I'm going to let you guess for a second. Really, who do you think he's been speaking with, sharing platforms with? You still haven't come up with anything yet? Les Brown. I've been watching Les Brown since I was a kid. I love Les Brown. And to be working with Ruben West, who has the opportunity to travel with Mr. Brown on a regular basis, is just extraordinary. So again, Dr. West is with us today. Ed is going to come up next and deliver his topic on Destination Mastery. Again, that's our topic of today. And our goal, as Ed always says, is to connect, correct, and climb. And Ed is going to come and deliver some extraordinary, he calls them boulders, nuggets, you know how Ed is. You guys watch us all the time. He's going to deliver some information that is going to impact your life, get you to take action. We have been sitting down long enough. As of today, April 25th at, I'm looking at my clock, 3:46. You're going to get some information that is going to transform your life. Ed has been talking about this. Well, we both have been talking about it. I'm sharing some insight. We both have been, because we are so excited to share this information. Ed is coming out with his new book, and I want to say he called it Back from Broken, but Ed has like 500 projects, y'all, literally 500 projects that he's working on. We brainstorm about these projects all the time. Y'all, I can barely keep up, and that's just being real. But anyway, I'm going to go back to his introduction so you guys can be ready. Ed is an amazing speaker. I like to call him Edward Womack because he leaves you with the whoa effect. He always has something to tell you. Sometimes we talk, I'm like, I didn't think about it that way. But Ed is going to do that for you guys today. He has some boulders, as he likes to call them, that he's going to deliver. He is known as the Life Transformer. He has a website, Edward Womack Speaks. I could go on and on and on about his accolades. His first book was called Back for Broken, Happy and Joyous. That was the subtitle. We talked about it earlier on our radio show. Shameless plug, I must add. But nevertheless, Edward Womack is here. He's ready. He's waiting to come out and deliver some amazing information. So you guys get ready for the Edward Womack.
Lady D, as always, thank you so much. And mastery is waiting on you. And all you have to do is just get her done. And it may seem simple. It may seem out of reach. It may be overdue. What perhaps is the case for you and you and you? Are you sitting there squandering the talents, the gifts, the abilities that have been placed right in your lap? I'm reminded of a nugget that I pulled out of our coach's book, Destination Mastery, which says that destination or destiny is no matter of choice. It's a matter of choice. It's not chance, it's choice. And see, what I came to realize is that as I was pursuing my destiny upon understanding what that destiny was, I had to come to the understanding that it's not a matter of chance. Because, see, in order to be able to constantly pour into others, constantly research, constantly uplift oneself, I had to make a choice. I had to come to the realization that I could keep on getting the same things I've always gotten, or I could do something different and try to get some things that I hadn't already been given. And what I was reminded of when I began to really ponder, how do I get to what my destiny is telling me that I'm supposed to be, see, deliver, serve to others? I don't know. Are you sitting there wondering by chance what it is that you should be doing with regard to your day-to-day life, with regard to your career, perhaps with regard to some relationship that you're in? Perhaps it could be a hobby. Are you perhaps wondering what is it that destiny has said, what destiny has claimed should be in your life? And as you're pondering that and you're beginning to evaluate, what is it that I'm really and truly placed on this planet to do? What I want you to understand is that destiny is no matter of chance. It's a matter of choice that we have to make every single day. It's not a thing to be waited for. It's a thing to be achieved. And see, in order to achieve what you are destined to do, what you are destined to be, where you are destined to go, you got to make the choice. And the first choice that I'm going to share with you today in our time together is you got to believe. You see, if you can believe it, you certainly can allow yourself or put yourself in position to achieve it. And once you believe within the depths of your soul, once you believe with every fiber of your being, once you believe beyond any shadow of a doubt that you can accomplish the destiny that is waiting just for you, only you. And see, the beauty of it is we all possess gifts, talents, and abilities, varying skills, but it's uniquely been given to you because there is no one else that can deliver the message that you might be withholding, that you might be suppressing, that you may be squandering simply because you will not make the choice. Today I subscribe to you. Get her done. See, you got to take that first step. Even when you can't see the entire staircase, you got to take that first step. And see, the universe rewards those who take action, not those who sit back and do nothing. And what I come to understand, and what I hope you will realize as well, as you go forward and you make that choice to believe in yourself, in the gifts, talents, and abilities that can only come from you, I hope that you begin to get that yearning, that bubbling on the inside that just says, yep, that's right. Oops, that ain't indigestion. I'm moving. I'm doing it. I'm grooving with the things that are been put in my path. I am impacting the lives of others, and I'm paying my rent. That's right, the rent. And the rent that we pay, I'm not talking about in your house. I'm not talking about the mortgage. What I'm talking about is the rent that we pay to be on this planet, because we don't own the earth. We've been given dominion over it, but we don't necessarily own it. And the rent that we pay to be here is our service to others. You know, even when you're going through something and you really may not understand why. Because I personally have been in that position where I've sat literally in the downtown square of Decatur, Georgia. About 9 years ago, I sat there really unaware of what it was that I was supposed to do, who it was that I was really truly supposed to entrust and allow into my circle of influence, where it was that I was going to begin to execute and exhibit my gifts, talents, and abilities. And see, what I come to understand is that it wasn't the high-paying job that I had been blessed with. It wasn't the big stadium full of people that watched me win an undefeated state championship. It wasn't the amazing clothes that I wore that defined my destiny. What I came to understand when all the dust cleared, when I finally had that moment of clarity while sitting in that square in Decatur, Georgia, and I began to really and truly hear from on high, this is not the life that you're supposed to be living, young man. You've got so much more. You've got so many talents, so many gifts that you've been suppressing, that you've been running away from. I was chasing all kinds of crazy things in my life. I was chasing popularity. I was chasing dollars. I was chasing the solution to my issues in the bottom of bottles, in the bottom of crack pipes. You see, I was chasing all the wrong things. And I heard one of my favorite people, similar to Demetra, we all kind of study some of the same people, but I was listening to Andy one day on Speak, Show Up for Your Life. And Andy said, when you stop chasing the wrong things, you afford the opportunity for the right things to catch up to you. For those of you that are writers, for those of you that are note takers, I need you to post that into the Facebook group over at Be Your Best 2015. When you stop chasing the wrong things, you afford an opportunity for the things to catch up to you, the right things to catch up to you. And what I came to understand is as I began to step outside of the victim mode, as I began to peel back the layers of the onion and began to peer into the real essence of who I was, the onion made me cry. I was not proud of some things that I encountered. And I don't know, I pray to God that your story is not one of substance abuse. I pray to God that your story is not one of depression. I pray to God that yours is not one of sexual assault. But what I do say to you, whatever it is that you may be going through, you have a choice in what destiny you choose. You can remain stuck in the rut. Oh, well, rut, what is that, Ed? I'm so glad you asked. So the rut I referred to as repetitive, unproductive thinking. That's right, the rut. You see, I was stuck in that rut for a while. I just kind of kept going around and around and around and around in my head, allowing things that had no value, no bearing, no real substance to occupy my mind and keep me in the rut. Repetitive, unproductive thinking. And see, what I come to understand is when I was watching or visualizing the rut, what I saw was a farmer in a tractor out plowing the field. And see, when farmers go out and plow the field, whether it be by hand or by tractor, they have these ruts that go down on each side of their crops. And in order to be able to properly seed things and have everything line up all neatly, if you've ever been driving down the freeway, you see it. You can look down an aisle and you see that perfectly uniform. And the reason that can happen is because they're stuck in a rut. But the rut of life that I've coined it as, it's like that repetitive, unproductive thinking can land you in some places that are not so pleasant. That rut can land you in some places that are not very memorable. That rut can land you in some places that are not moving you forward and can actually cause you a lot of pain. And I experienced that pain. And as a result, I'm back from broken, and I'm happy, joyous, and free today because I got out of the rut. I let that repetitive, unproductive thinking go. I put that repetitive, unproductive thinking in its proper position. But it wasn't by myself. You see, what I came to understand is this, that all that repetitive, unproductive thinking was happening while I was stuck in the prison between my ears. See, that repetitive, unproductive thinking can be extremely damaging if you don't give it its due attention. That repetitive, unproductive thinking can be quite damaging if you don't allow people to pour into you like Demetra Moore, Dr. Ruben West, Andy Enriquez, Richard Toddy, Terrence Lethbridge, Johnny Mack, John McClung, Reverend Bishop T.D. Jakes, Pastor James Womack, my little brother. When you don't allow people to pour into you and offer you the support, offer you the encouragement, offer you some sounding boards to allow you to get some of that stuff out of you, some of that repetitive, unproductive thinking can actually take you out. So I say to you today, we got to get her done. We got to first believe and understand that we have a choice. We got to put aside that repetitive, unproductive thinking known as the rut. And for my final point that I'm going to close on today, you got to adjust your attitude. And see, what I've come to understand is that as you're moving through life, the things that you lend your energy to, the things that you allow to occupy your space is purely based on choice. And Zig Ziglar once said that the choice to have a great attitude is something nobody or no circumstance can take from you. Okay, for those note takers again, go ahead, let's post this one in the Facebook group. The choice to have a great attitude is something nobody or no circumstance can take away from you. What are you talking about, Ed? I'm so glad you asked. So if you want to have a great attitude, it's purely your choice. And once you get to a point of going into a constant cycle of having a great attitude, what you'll find is this. Your days may have some peaks and they may have some valleys that exist. But if you've got a great attitude, you'll navigate them with a lot more ease than if you're already at the bottom, because you know how we try to encourage you, and we oftentimes say to you, you've got to make certain that your attitude is directly in alignment with the altitude that you're attempting to rise to. And as you're doing that, what you're going to also realize is this, that you have the choice. You've got to allow your attitude to elevate and be lifted to a point where things that occur in day-to-day life are no longer just simply something that cause you to be derailed. I don't know who I'm talking to today, but I feel the energy just coming through this webinar in the very essence of destination mastery. As you're approaching the ability to be able to consider yourself at a level of mastery, you're going to have to do a couple of things. You're going to have to, first and foremost, you have to make a choice. You're going to, secondly, have to believe and know that the gifts, talents, and abilities that you possess are there for you to help and to serve someone else. And then lastly, you're going to have to adjust that attitude. That attitude that's going to say, you know what? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Because William Shakespeare said this. He said, if you believe you can, or you believe you can't. You're probably right. Okay, note takers, I know you can't stand it. William Shakespeare said, if you believe you can, or you believe you can't, you're probably right. Directly related to the attitude adjustment that I was just speaking upon, you've got to make sure that you pour in good things into your thought process. You've got to have self-talk that reminds you constantly, yes, you can, yes, you can. You got to be like that little engine that could. I know I can, I know I can, I know I can, I know I can. Whatever it may be for you. If it be going back to school, if it be diving into a new relationship after a failed relationship, if it be taking on new experiences within your life, whatever that may be, because you know that it's a part of your destiny, you got to be like that little engine that could. I know I can. I know I can. I know I can. I know I can. And before you know it, you'll be seeking the rewards that have been provided to you by the universe, because the universe rewards those who take action, not those who don't. And as we always close, I want to leave you with these words. And I'd ask that you even repeat after me right where you're sitting. And you can post this in the Facebook group for Be Your Best 2015 as well. Good, better, best. We can't let it rest until our good is our better and our better is our best. And Ed Womack, the Life Transformer on Be Your Best 2015, I say to you, we'll see you at the top now because the bottom's entirely too crowded. Demetra?
I was over here mocking your quote, as I always do, because one of these days, I'm going to get it right, okay? And then I'm going to steal it. So when you're not on the radio show and you're not on the webinar, I'm going to use it. I'm just letting you know. So anytime you guys out there who's watching this webinar see me mocking Ed, that's because one day I'm going to perfect it, and I'm going to use it when Ed's not around. And then you guys can tell him, I really don't care. He knows I'm learning, so I could steal it from him. But anyways,
it's called creative sharing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Borrowing.
And if I got it, you can get it, because I love to see you with it, Lady D. So have at it, sweetheart.
Well, I got to say, Ed, the chat room has been firing up when you were speaking. I can see the quotes out there. I'm looking now to see Key Bird actually chimed in. So we are glad. She's a fellow black belt speaker. We are glad that you were watching. Justin actually joined the chat room. So Justin, thank you for your support. I'm looking through. Charles Carey out there, Ed, he was supporting as well. And one more person. Hold on. I said Justin. I said Key. And it was one more other person that was in there. I told you mentioned Tracy Ward. She was in there earlier too. So again, thank you guys for continually watching us and supporting us on this monthly series. We definitely appreciate it. But without further ado, I'm going to pass it on to Ed so he can introduce Dr. West.
Man, you know what? First and foremost, before we go there, I want to just thank all of our loyal listeners that continue to come back, that continue to pour into the Facebook group. But even for those new people that are here, we are so delighted because, again, we connect, we correct, and we climb here. And I just want to extend a really special thank you to the rest of the Black Belt Speaker family that's tuning in and showing their support today. Because what we found in alignment with the African proverb that says, if you want to go far, go alone. No, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with a team. And we have more than a team here at Black Belt Speakers. We got a family. And the support that's been pouring out into each other has just been amazing. And here on this very broadcast, you're seeing the results and the evidence of what working as a team can do to help move you to the next level. And I am just honored and humbled to have such a coach, because when I was looking for a mentor and a coach, I wanted somebody of substance. I wanted somebody of integrity. I wanted somebody that had been there, done that, had a few T-shirts, not just one, and have been around the block a time or two. And when I first started talking to Dr. West, he was in South Africa with Les Brown, who happens to be his mentor. So it don't really get too much better than having a mentor that you can actually reach out, see, feel, and actually a couple of weeks ago, we actually got to shake hands and be in the same room together. But it was an amazing experience to be in his presence. Every time I talk to him on the phone, I've gotten to the point, I've got a pretty good memory, but I've gotten to the point that he drops so much, so fast, so frequently, I record our calls just to make sure I don't miss anything. That's how much he just pours into it, and it's done so genuinely. And so he's got a book. He's an author as well of Destination Mastery, and the mastery is poured out into each and every one of us as Black Belt speakers, as you hopefully see evidence of Lady D and myself. There's several other members of our team that are just doing phenomenal things as well. But Dr. West had us on Wilmington for a 3-day intensive training that was part none. I mean, second to none. It was amazing. I walked out, and I've been speaking for a while, but not on this level. And I'm just so grateful, so honored, so humbled to have with us today the breakthrough specialist, the vision man, the ultimate, the #1 trainer of speakers in my book on the planet. I don't care what the other lists say. Without further ado, I provide to you, brace you for a life-changing experience, Dr. Ruben West. Mic check, Brother West.
Can you hear me, Ed?
We can't hear you, and I'm going to go on mute so we can make sure we hear you better. Mic check.
Yeah, I'm right here.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Life is like a checkerboard, and the player opposite you is time. If you hesitate before moving or neglect to move promptly, your men will be wiped off the board by time. You're playing against an opponent who will not tolerate indecision. Those are the words of Napoleon Hill. And today, collectively, we're talking about destination mastery. We're talking about how do you win. And so what I'm going to share with you is three tips on what I feel like can help you get to that next level. Now, I'm going to be right here and honest with you. I'm going to tell you my tips right up front. Number one, you have to know that I am enough. The second thing you have to know, you have to be willing to do is make a comeback. And the third thing you have to do is find a way. I'm going to lay them right out there for you. You have to know that you're enough, you have to make a comeback, and you have to find a way. But here's what I can tell you. That if we're talking about destination mastery, what you have to understand, and I think most people miss this, I think most people don't understand that life is a game. Now, I know that's opposite of everything you've been told. You've heard people say, you think this is a game? You think this is a game? You think I'm playing a game? Listen, let me tell you, get this straight. Write this one down. Yes, life is a game. Now, why do I say it's a game? Because if life is a game, then you have to be playing to win. And I believe that most people don't reach their mastery. Most people don't reach their upper level. They don't get more out of life. They don't make a comeback. And you know why? Because they don't know how to win the game. They haven't defined the rules of their game. See, one of the things we like about a basketball game is when we walk in the gym, we already know what the rules are. We know how the players are supposed to play. We can tell when they do something wrong. We know what the calls mean. We know what the referees' jobs are. We know what our jobs are as fans. And then there's a scoreboard. We can look and see who's winning and who's losing. And at the end of the game, whoever has the most points, they win. We know how to play the game. But my question for you is, what is your game and how do you win? You got to know how you're going to win your game of life. And it's different for all of us. And so what I come to realize, that if you're going to win the game of life, this is the first point. I told you I had three. This is the very first point you have to know, that I'm enough. You know, I didn't come up with that myself. The points that I'm going to use today, I didn't come up with them. Some of the speakers that I work with came up with them, but they're brilliant. And this point was developed by Tracy Ward. She has a movement called I Am Enough. And here's what's interesting, because I remember interviewing Tracy for the Black Belt Speaker Program, and she was telling me how she wanted to speak, how she wanted to share her information with people who needed to hear what she had to say. And so I had her tell me about it, and I'm going to share a little bit about it with you. And here's what she discovered. And she discovered it the hard way. That regardless of the setbacks she faced, regardless of the trials in her life, regardless of the people who told her she couldn't make it or she wouldn't do it, she said, Ruben, I got to the point where I realized I'm enough. And that's what I want you to understand, that you may be facing setbacks right now. Why would I say that not knowing you? I know you because we have this universal experience called life. And what I've determined is there's only three types of problems in life. And here they are: the ones you've been through, the ones you're going through, and the ones that are waiting on you. So if you haven't been through any and you aren't going through any right now, trust yours are on the way. For Tracy, her challenges started a long time ago. She said, Ruben, you don't understand. I remember when I got pregnant with my second son. And I did everything right. You guys know how mothers are. They're elated. They got this smile. They're carrying a life. They want to be the right conduit for this life. She said, I started changing my eating habits. I wanted to work out more. I made sure I ate the right things and drank the right things. I never drank or smoked. I didn't do drugs, so that wasn't a problem. But I took my vitamins, all of these things. And she said, I remember going to the doctor's office for my checkup. You know how they do the sonogram. And she was happy because that's the way it's supposed to be. She had a child previously, so she knew how it was supposed to go. And then he said, I got something I need to tell you. And it's not good news. He said, Tracy, we've done some testing, and they took some of her amniotic fluid and they tested it. And he said that it's a good chance that your child may be born with a defect. that his communication may be off, his balance may be off, he may not be able to walk. We don't really know all the ramifications that the problem could cause, but what we're telling you now is that there may be a problem, and the likelihood is good. See, that's your life. What I'm telling you now is that there may be a problem, and the likelihood is good. That you have problems still, no matter what you've been through, they're still waiting on you. See, her son hadn't even been born yet. And they're already telling her that there may be a problem. And she said, well, okay, I understand. I'm not for sure what you want me to do, but like, is there something I need to take? Is there something I need to do? Is there some kind of vitamin or some kind of thing I can do to counteract this? And they said, no. No, there's nothing you can do. She said, okay, I get it, I get it. She said, but they told her, the reason we're telling you this, now get this, the reason that we're telling you this is so that you can make an informed decision. And she said, well, wait a minute, what do you mean an informed decision? No, Tracy, the reason that we're telling you this is so that you can make an informed decision as to whether you want to continue on with this pregnancy. And she said, hold up, wait a minute, who are you talking to? What are you talking about? This is my child that you're talking about. Here's what I know, that God won't put more on me than I can bear. Here's what I know about you. He won't put more on you than you can bear. So when you hear the bad news, when you understand that the problems are on their way, trust you can handle it. Tracy said, I'm going to do whatever I have to do, but what I'm not going to do, check what I'm saying, what I'm not going to do is give up my baby. When we're talking about destination mastery, when we're talking about winning your game of life, once you set out to have the goal, once you set out that you know what the results are going to be, you can't throw in the towel. You can't give in to defeat. You can't surrender. Tracy said, no. No. I'm going to have this baby. I'm having my baby. And she said the whole time she was pregnant, she was worried about it. She was thinking about it, but she was still committed to doing whatever it takes. That she had to understand that she was enough. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You have to still be committed to doing whatever it takes. You are enough. And she said when the baby was born, listen to this, when the baby was born, they were right. That it was the case. That she noticed that there were some problems right away. This was her second time being a mother. And she didn't know what to do. And so she did all the things they told her to do. They said, you know, work with your son, read to your son, talk to him, read to him at night, read him books, show him pictures. You have to get his language up. You want to talk to him, share information with him. He can hear you. He may not be able to communicate back, but he's hearing you. He's listening. And she would practice with him at night. Say, Mama? Say, book? Say apple? Nothing. And she said there was all kind of people that she wanted to get involved. She wanted to tell people, and here's what I could tell you. When you're going through your difficult situations, sometimes you're alone. You can tell people, but here's what I've come to realize. 80% don't care, and the other 20% are glad it's you. She was all alone dealing with this on her own, but she wasn't going to quit. She realized that if it was given to her, she was enough. And then one day, listen to this, one day she was in her kitchen washing the dishes. I want you to think about this breakthrough moment. She said her son was on the floor playing, and she had him in there while she was cooking. And she heard something. It said, Mama. And she said she stopped. Wait a minute. Could that be? Now that can't be. She said she almost dropped the pot that she was dealing with, and she turned around. She looked down on the floor. He was sitting down on the floor playing, and he was looking up in her eyes. She said their eyes met. It was a connection. And he said, Mama. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes your dream will call your name. Her son, her baby, who they told would have speech problems, who wouldn't be able to talk, he said, Mama. See, when you stay in the fight, when you realize that it's destination mastery, not second place, but first place, when you understand that there's rules of the game and you're never going to give in or throw in the towel, life makes a shift for you. It made a shift. And what she had to realize was that regardless of what they told her, regardless of what they said, regardless of the challenges that she faced, she was enough. What you have to realize is regardless of what you're going through, regardless of what people said about you, regardless of what you thought about yourself, I want you to understand that in this life, this destination mastery life, this life where you're going for the goal, where you're reaching for the stars, where you understand that your job is to win the game, you are enough. And once you understand that you're enough, you can look back and see where you've been half-stepping. You can look back and see where you haven't been giving your all. You can look back and see the times you fell short. But now your second thing you got to do is you got to make the comeback. See, you got to make a comeback. My friend Edward Womack, who was just talking, he wrote a book. It was called Back from Broken. And you know what Ed did? He made a comeback. See, in life, we're going to have to do that sometimes because it's not all peaches and creams. No, that's not the way it is. It's not that type of party. But it doesn't matter what you've been through before. That's not your destiny. Your destination is mastery. Your job, win the game. And if you're down, and sometimes you are, I know. Sometimes you're down. But you have to make a commitment to make a comeback. You got to make a comeback. I have a speaker. Her name is Danielle Gordon. She lives in Canada. And I really like working with Danielle. I just got a chance to spend some time with her, as Ed mentioned. We had a 3-day training in Bloomington, Illinois, and the plane ride from the Okanagan in Canada to Bloomington, Illinois was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. So many twists and turns because the day she was flying, there was tornadoes and storms, so she had all this rerouting, all these overnight delays, but she made it. But here's what I know about Danielle. She's used to making a comeback. You see, if you met her, you wouldn't even know it because she's very powerful. She talks with courage and she looks into your eyes with pride and confidence. But if you know her history, she had to make a comeback. See, there was a time in Danielle's life when she was early on, when she was young, a teenager, that she met some challenges. And it was difficult. And during that time in her life as a young kid, she found herself on her own. She found herself homeless. Now, listen, when I say that, I know what you guys think. I know her and her mom and her dad are living in a car and her and her mom and dad are going to shelters. No. She was homeless. That here's a 13-year-old girl having to learn how to take care of herself, having to learn how to survive on the street. See, what it does is it gives you a skewed perception in life. It lets you understand that there may be no one that's coming to help you or no one that can save you. And sometimes in our life, we have to understand that for ourselves, that there's no one coming to save us. And what she realizes that it was scary out there. That there was plenty of nights that she didn't know how she was going to make it. I read this book, and it was called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Danielle, she felt the fear, but she realized she had to do it anyway. For you, you got to understand that there's going to be some things in your life that you're going to be afraid of. There's going to be some challenges that you come up against. There's going to be some setbacks, and you look at them and you're going to think, how in the world am I going to get over that hump? And the reason you're going to be stumbling is because you're scared. Will Smith in the movie After Earth said, danger is real, but fear is a choice. And in those moments when you feel that fear, you have to commit to doing it anyway. Danielle, she committed to doing it anyway. She realized that in that situation, that no one was coming to save her. She said, if it's going to be, it was up to me. But she realized what Tracy realized, that, you know what? I am enough. If I was given this problem, I can handle it. You know, there's a unique thing, and I want to tell you about it. Crisis in the Chinese language means danger, but it also means opportunity. Whoa. Listen to that. Crisis in the Chinese language means danger, but it also means opportunity. Because why is that? Bad news is good news for somebody. Sometimes when you get some bad news, that's going to turn out to be good news. Why? Because it's going to make you reach down and find a version of yourself that you never worked with before. And that's what Danielle had to do. And so when I met her, face to face for the first time in Bloomington, Illinois, I could see in her eyes that she had made a comeback. That she wasn't that scared little girl that she was at 13. No, that life had been rough with her. It had put her in some difficult situations. She had to figure some things out. You know what? And sometimes the only way out was through. She had to go through a lot so she could be where she was, but she was a different person. And you will be a different person too. See, there's something about when you face everything life throws at you and you're still standing. And you have a goal, you have a dream, you have a game, and you're trying to win. I believe that when you're relentless, when you won't take your foot off the gas, when you face each challenge head on, when you come back setback after setback, when you stumble and get knocked down, but you get back up because you know, like Muhammad Ali said, the canvas is no place for a champion. I believe that when you keep coming back, life says, wait a minute. Let this one through. This one's too strong. We can't defeat this one. Let's go find a wimp to pick on. I believe that you start working towards your destination. And that destination is mastery. See, because when you refuse to quit, you find a way to win the game. And that's my third point. Is find a way. See, so many times we're confused, we're looking around, we're trying to see what the answer is, and our mistake is we're waiting for someone to give us the answer, but guess what? Sometimes they don't have our answer. Sometimes what you need to know is only going to come through you. And so when you realize that if it's going to be, it's up to me, like Danielle realized. When you realize that if I'm going to do it, I have to step out on faith, like my friend Tracy realized. When you understand that you may be broken, but you can come back, like Ed Womack realized, then you are determined to find a way. I want to tell you about my third speaker. His name is Justin G. LaRoque. And he's a powerful young man. And it's interesting because I met Justin for the first time at the same speaker training. And when I saw him, he just looked like a person who would find a way. And that's his background. You see, Justin's not even from this country. And that was the first thing I saw in his eyes was his determination. You know, it's funny because I don't play the lottery. I've never played I played it once in a group, but it's not something I do on a regular basis. And I was talking with someone, and they were really wanting to win the lottery. They said they were pooling all this money together. If they got it all together, they would win. They wanted to win the lottery. And I had to set them all down. I said, I can tell you about the lottery. I know how to win. I know how to win the lottery. And they said, how do you know? That can't be. That would be fixed. If you knew how, you would already have the money. Ruben, how can you tell us how to win the lottery? I said, I can tell you how you can win the lottery. They said, okay, tell us. And then here's what I told them. Be born in the United States. Yeah, you heard me. Be born in the United States. If you were born in the United States, you already won the lottery. Now the question is, what are you going to do with your winnings? Justin wasn't born in the United States. He came here. He was committed to make a difference in his life. And he said, Ruben, what I was committed to was being in the music industry. I said, wow, that's a crazy dream. You know, I know people who are born here in the United States and they don't have a dream. Justin, what makes you could do it? He said, Ruben, I knew I could do it and I was willing to work for it. Let me tell you what he did. He went to school, he studied, he disciplined himself, and he got a 4.0 all through college. 4.0 all through college. See, I think there's a lesson right there that if you're going to have your dream, if you're going to win the game, if you're going to find a way, you have to pursue it with excellence. Excellence. Why? Because excellence gets rewarded. He got a 4.0 all the way through college. And then let me tell you what he said. He said, and so then I was ready to move into working in the music industry. I had big dreams, big ideas, big thoughts. There was things I wanted to do with my life. I didn't come here for nothing. Ruben, do you think this is a game? Yes. Well, it is, and I'm going to win. He said he started sending out applications, he started reaching out to people, and it was just a matter of time before he would get contacted and be living his dream. And I know that a lot of us think the same thing, that we've done all the right things, we've taken all the right steps, we've made all the right moves, and now it's just a matter of time before we start living our dream. We have something in our mind that we want to do. It's our vision. I heard Willie Jolly say, a vision without action is an illusion, and action without a vision is mere confusion. But vision, listen to this, vision put together with action can give your life a transfusion. Justin said, I'm giving my life a transfusion. My vision is to be in the music industry. I took action. I got a 4.0. I sent out my information, my resumes, and I'm going to interviews. And guess what he did? Nothing. Not one of them hired him. And then he made up a story. He made up a story that if you're going to get into the music industry, it's only because you know somebody. You have to know somebody. What I've come to realize is a lot of us in our lives, we've quit going after our dreams because we've made up a story. We made up a story that we weren't smart enough. We made up a story that we weren't good enough. We made up a story that we came from the wrong background. We made up the story that we didn't have the right connections. We made up the story that we lived in the wrong state. We made up a story that we have the wrong degree. We made up a story that is because of the friends that we're connected to, or because who we're married to, or because we have children. We've made up story after story after story after story after story. And we've given up on that dream. But here's what I'm here to tell you. Your life isn't over. Veronica Bird said, you're still in the game. Justin realized, wait a minute, this is destination what? Mastery. I'm trying to win the game. He said, wait a minute, so if now I got to start going door to door, if I got to start beating on doors, knocking on windows, making phone calls, whatever it takes, I have to find a way. That's his message, find a way. And he said he was committed to doing it. And Justin went back to the drawing board. That's when you go back to the beginning. That's when you go back to the start. That's when you hit the button, I'm going to do a do-over. He went back to the beginning to find a way. And guess what he did? He found one. Justin now works in the music industry. He got to travel with big name people, go over to overseas, meet all of these different people, and guess what? He didn't change where he was born. Guess what? He didn't change his income level before he found a way. Guess what? He didn't change the fact that he knew people in the industry. No. You know what he changed? Was his mindset. You know what he changed? Was his mantra. Find a way or make one. Listen, you're in the fight of your life. Is this a game? Yes. Your goal? Win it. Destination? Mastery. And if you're going to do it, you have to understand, number one, I am enough. Number two, be willing to make a comeback. And number three, find a way. Why? Because it won't last forever. Because sooner or later, it'll be game over. So I want to leave you with this. Life is like a checkerboard, and the player opposite you is time. If you hesitate before moving or neglect to move promptly, your men will be wiped off the board by time. You're playing against an opponent who will not tolerate indecision. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Ruben West, telling you, make your destination mastery and find a way to win the game. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. West, first and foremost, again, thank you so much. That just seems so inadequate for that quality of information, that amount of sharing, that pouring in. Just thank you, man, for being an awesome person that you are.
No problem. I love it. You know, we all have to find a way to show up for our lives. You know, Andy Enriquez, that's his mantra that you guys quoted. He says, show up for your life. And so I'm willing to do that. I'm committed to do that.
Absolutely. And the Facebook group is just going berserk over here. I want to thank a few extra people, or a few additional people that I noticed popped in. Vanessa Collins, who's been on a couple of different Be Your Best 2015. Thank you so much for coming back yet again, Vanessa, to join us and to pour into our Facebook group. She's posting nuggets out there. Dolores Cummings, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Key Bird is just in there just feverishly dropping nuggets. Your attitude and altitude must be in alignment. Brother Charles Carey, thank you so much for dropping by and pouring in and participating inside of our chat room. Justin G, Tracy, Demetra. Well, Demetra's a host, so you count double. Because that's what you do every week. But I am just so ecstatic at allowing the energy of Connect, Correct, and Climb to become contagious, to be extended beyond the boundaries of our wildest imagination, to go and still be running even after that New Year's Eve, which was intended to be just a single show, and to have the opportunity to share the stage with the likes of Demetra Moore, Ruben West, Justin G. LaRoe, Tracy Ward, and many others that are yet to come, that are on their way to the top, because the bottom we've come to realize is entirely too crowded. And as we go to that level of mastery that Mr. West spoke so eloquently of, we're going to bring a couple of other folk along with us. Chipito, I'm coming at you, man. You have a voice, and you're going to bring it out as well. And we were talking, he was actually sharing with me, you know, some of the things that he had encountered. And I touched on it a little bit earlier, and I keep mentioning his name because it's just resonating so tough in my spirit. And, you know, we are all about connecting, correcting, and climbing. And when you have the opportunity to see the lights come on for somebody, it's an amazing thing. And a lot of times I tell people that, you know, yeah, it's okay to have money, and we need to have some of it to sustain ourselves, but the real reward for everybody on this particular webinar, the real reward, the true reward, is knowing that you've hit the mark, knowing that you've helped somebody elevate beyond their current circumstance, knowing that you've poured into somebody enough to help them realize the greatness within themselves and be able to stand back and watch that blow. It is an amazing, amazing event. Lady D, you've been monitoring the room. I'm sorry, I got a little emotional there for a moment because this is just an awesome event today. So help me out. What's going on in the chat room, Lady D?
We had Shauna Turner show up in the chat room. So thank you, Shauna, for supporting us. We are definitely excited that you decided to spend some time with us today, get some information. Brother Terrence Leftridge is in the house. He showed up, I mean, just being overly supportive. So, again, thank you, Terrence. And I'm seeing who else. We called Justin. You called Tracy. You called Key. Donnie Reed was in there. So thank you, Donnie, for showing up and, you know, giving us love today. And let's see. I think that's everybody. You called some names earlier, too, Ed. I didn't want to overlap. But, yeah, it was just an amazing experience to, again, share this platform with you guys today. And that quote, Ruben, that last one, I was trying to write it down to post it. I didn't quite get it. I need that quote, the one about playing checkers. I like that. And I think we should borrow that and add that to our collection.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But see, the beautiful thing about timeless quotes is that they're creatively shared, and if impacted or incorporated at the right strategic moment, they can be amazing. So it's not stealing, it's creative sharing. And I've got one that I have not totally, and I'm going to be totally transparent. I haven't committed this one to memory just yet, but I think it is so fitting for today's show that I've got to take a stab at it. And I'm okay with being transparent because I'm not perfect. I'm not there just yet, but I'm certainly pursuing the destination of mastery. And what I wanted to share is because of that statement or the combination of statements that we've made today, I think there's one quote that just really kind of ties them all together. And eventually I am going to commit it totally to memory, but I got to share this one. It's by Theodore Roosevelt. And it's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. And that's by Theodore Roosevelt. I think that's so applicable to today, understanding the game of life, understanding that you have to realize that I am enough as you're proceeding along the course of life, that we are destined to win. Because everybody within the sound of my voice, I proclaim victory for you right now. We need to, at some point in time, such as Justin, such as myself, such as Danielle, we might have to make a comeback. And we may indeed realize that if we don't sit and rest upon our laurels, if we get out of that rut, that repetitive, unproductive thinking, well, lo and behold, we might just find a way. So I am ecstatic today. Ruben, you've got to let our audience know how they can get connected if they're not already connected and stay in touch with you, sir.
Absolutely. So you can certainly reach out to me at my Facebook page, Ruben West, RUBENWEST is right at the bottom of the screen. You can also reach me on my website, RubenWest360.com. That's RubenWest360.com. If you want to send me any information, you can private message me on Facebook, or you can send me an email at info@RubenWest360.com. info@RubenWest360.com. Before I turn the mic back over to you two, I have to say something about you two. Because one of the mistakes we make is we think that we have to be perfect. Earlier today I heard Ed say done is better than perfect. What I like about you two is that you've defined the rules of the game and you're playing to win. And so I have to commend you that you don't have to be perfect. We've all heard you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And what's funny and interesting is everybody takes those things as cliches. They take them as something to say, clever sayings. They use them now and then. But you guys are the epitome of it. You do what you say. You're actually doing it. Ed, Demetra, you two, you're in the arena. And in the end, whether you strive valiantly or you err or you come short, it doesn't matter. Your place will never be amongst those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. So congratulations for taking action. I got to say that.
Thank you so much, Doctor. And one of the things that you had said to us one day that both Demetra and I take very dearly, and I don't want to speak for her, but I know we share this, is that the universe rewards those who take action. And that just resonates within my spirit, and I just thank you so much for being the mentor that you are. And we're going to continue to connect, correct, climb, and voice record conversations with you so that we can continue to get better.
Well, thank you, guys.
Lady D.
I had something. I was just sitting here. You guys were throwing out those quotes. You know I can't type that fast. I was trying to still get the one Ruben had. So Ruben, I need to get that so I can.
Gotcha.
What was it, Ed? Share it. How did you say it? How did you say it? Sharing. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Sharing. I'm actually, you know what? And I got your back, Lady D. I'm going to go ahead and post the Theodore Roosevelt quote in there. So I got that one for you.
Okay, but there's one thing I must say to both of you guys, and then just to all of the Black Belt speakers who are listening today, is that we all have been gaining more courage as we work with you, Ruben. It's just been an extraordinary experience. It's been almost a year ago today that I first talked to you, and it's amazing that I'm on a webinar with you, and a year ago, almost today, was that we started working together, and it's been an amazing ride. And there's been a lot of things that I've been through throughout this journey that has taught me a lot of courage. And all the things that you shared today, helped us to get to where we are today. We couldn't have been, I don't think I could have just woke up and just said, okay, I'm going to do this webinar without going through the process, without going through the training, without all the sweat, perspiration, time invested, traveling, all of the events, all of the assignments that you've given. All of that is part of the journey that we're on as Black Belt speakers to be the best that we can be, to growing our own, and not necessarily be the next Ruben West, because then we'll just be number 2. I mean, there's only one Ruben West, you know? Right. So we got to be the best at who we are. Right. And as I mentioned earlier, truly own that and be courageous about it. And I just commend all of us for moving forward to embark on this speaker's journey that you didn't know where it was going to end up. I know I didn't see myself a year ago being here on this webinar with you. I remember watching you on webinars. So again, thank you for allowing us this time today, sharing the points and being so free with giving and pouring into us. As Ed said, we do have to record your conversations because we can't get everything that you're giving. So we have an app. We shared it among the group. But again, just thank you for all of your time. We have the ability to call on you, and I know that has to be time consuming for your family, and being that you have other ventures that you are a part of. So thank you for that, and thank you for teaching courage. And I think, I don't know if people take that lightly, but you teach that, and I don't even know if you realize that you do, because you give off a sense of confidence that some of us don't have when we're walking into this new speakers arena, because we know that we're there to learn. But when you teach in such a manner that we're able to gain a sense of courage and confidence about what we're doing and where we're going, even though we can't really see what the next step is. So again, thank you so much for that. And again, I'm just honored to have done this webinar with you today. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the words.
All right. So ladies and gentlemen, again, you know the drill by now. The buttons are up above, the share buttons. I mean, I don't know. Back in Detroit, we used to say it like this: sugar to sugar, salt to salt. If you can get something awesome today, it ain't our fault. That's all. I'm just going to drop the mic, Jack. But we thank you guys so much for your participation, for your energy. And you can catch us back here next month, Saturday, the last Saturday of the month, of every month. Bro, I don't know how long this is going to happen. I'm going to take the 2015 off and just let Be Your Best just keep rolling, because ain't no telling where this thing is going to go. And in my favorite book, the undisputed #1 bestseller on the planet, it says, write a vision and make it plain, and there it will become. And so I'm not sure where this is going. I've learned not to put limitations on my creator, because he's just shown up and showed out and brought this brother back from broken. And today I truly am happy, joyous, and free. But before we depart today, I have to share one more thing with you, because as we've been growing, we've been connecting and correcting and climbing. Lady D and I came to a recent decision. Our weekly radio show, which posts every single Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, we've changed the URL to get there so that it's more in alignment. It wasn't perfect at first, but it was done, which is better than perfect. But now it's perfect, because it is now called the EdandLadyDShow.com. So if you want to join us every week via online, because you have to be at work, you can catch us at EdandLadyDShow.com. The dial into the show is 347, help me out, D. What's the last 4?
Why you got to put me out there?
Because I'm putting you out there too.
I got it, 346-989-8385, and you have to.
That's what it was. 347-989-8385. Yeah, every Saturday morning.
And press 1. You got that part. Press 1.
Now let me just step in here. Sorry to interrupt, but Ed, you said 347, and she said 346.
It's 347.
347. Sorry, 347-989.
Thank you so much. We got it. So here we go. One more time, and we're going to post it in the Facebook group as we always do. 347-989-8385. at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Or if you need to join online because you're at work, go to edandladyd.show.com. And we'll see you back there. And as we always end every presentation that Ed Womack, the Life Transformer, does of late, good, better, best. We can't let it rest until our good is our better and our better is our
best. I wanted to get in on that.
Absolutely. And we'll see you at the top now because the bottom is finally too crowded.
Too crowded.
Until next time, this is Ed Womack, Lady Demetra Moore, and Dr. Ruben West signing off until we see you back at Be Your Best 2015. Thanks all.
Thank you.
Good night.